before this group even started, and I'm going to keep it that way. So if you don't like it, then that's just too bad. I really don't give a fuck. Now, I did not leave on bad terms from this group. My departure from this group was based off a decision by me as well as my lawyer on the best interests of myself and my family. Now, let me tell you why I got involved, okay? During the Wayne Steen protests, I was one of the first people there on the Saturday to protest against his bail. And as I met a few of you guys, it seemed to me that our mission, our purpose, our agenda was all the same. We had one of them, and that was to have his bail revoked. But then as more groups came on and people joined, people were being added to admins, and before you know it, less than 7 weeks, you guys got 16 admins on a page, 4 different groups with 4 different agendas. Now, the reason I say 4 different agendas is because let me tell you something what I seen. When I went to Wayne Steen's protest, I seen one day Justin Trudeau, fuck Justin Trudeau posters and pictures of Justin Trudeau's on cars. You had a fucking pedophile protest. Why are you protesting against him? Another day, I mean, guys fighting about Dr. Hershaw. You know what? It's not about Dr. Hershaw. It's not about fucking COVID. We're not even at that level to even be fighting for that kind of shit anyway. So it was pointless to bring those out. And to me, and it was brought to my attention by a few members in McQueen that we don't really have a purpose on why we're fighting. All these groups joined, and now the agenda is not one agenda, one mission. It is now 3. It is now 4. And people got carried away. I mean, as you guys know, I worked with the EPS, and I had Staff Sergeant Jones at my house. And in fact, one day they came over and we had a discussion on what we can do to make our protesters a little more civil, and what we can get the city to or the police to do to show a little leeway for the protesters to show that yes, you guys are in fact behind us, but you have to do what needs to be done for the Steen side as well. So I brought it to your attention that you know what the big factor is? Wade Steen's Jeep. It was sitting out there 3 months. Child victim seen it. Every time I drove by there, I knew what it was there for, so every time I drove by and see it, that's the first thing that came to my head. So I can just imagine what the community thought. So I worked with Staff Sergeant Jones, and we were able to convince Mrs. Steen to release the truck into ownership of the city, which she kindly did, and the vehicle was removed. Boom, we didn't have to see that. The victim didn't have to see it anymore. So I did work with the police, but also the police informed me that a lot of us are breaking the laws. Now, I worked my ass off with EPS to be mediation between our protesters and the police, and I'll be honest, it saved a couple of you guys from being charged. There's still investigations going on, and I mean, so be it. I mean, you guys should have realized it was going to happen. Like, I mean, when you guys, I'm not going to say it was a group member or just a civilian or what, but when people start putting bananas up a senior's tailpipe, that could lead to some serious problems. Now, that could be considered assault, aggravated assault with a weapon, or in fact, Mrs. Steen got in that Jeep and she had to drive to Red Deer. The exhaust filled up her car. She crashed. She died, perhaps killed somebody else in a car accident. Now, there's involuntary manslaughter, or there's a murder, or some kind of a serious, more charged people. And you guys didn't think about that when you guys did it, whoever did it. Ripping off Mrs. Steen's plate off her Jeep, man. Everyone says they didn't do it. You know what? I seen you fucking bending the plate. I told you not to do it. Don't pull that card with me. I mean, shit like that. And it just got worse. I mean, after the Steen case, the St. Albert, and then all of a sudden it got into verbal fights there, and then Fort Saskatchewan, fighting between the protesters. I mean, you guys all lost the focus of why we were out there in the first place. That is why I chose to leave PvP, because the drama and the fact that there was way too many different groups in control of PvP, and I knew this was going to happen. My lawyer called me and advised me that these guys are breaking the law, Jack. There could be serious class action lawsuits against the whole group, anyone that's got admins. So far, I'm not going to tell you who, what, when, why, or explain the situation, but in one of the protests that you guys were at, I mean, the guy already served his crime. his time for his crime. And what you guys were doing was, in fact, criminal harassment. And if the guy was smart enough, he could have put a class action lawsuit on you, and you guys would have been paying this fucking pedophile for the rest of your fucking life. It's as simple as that. My advice from my lawyer, I chose to leave PvP. That's it. That's why I'm gone. I hope PvP gets on track and does what the whole purpose was supposed to be about anyway. And I hope they succeed, and I hope they make our communities a lot safer. Again, no hard feelings. So people, please stop messaging me, asking me why I left PvP and what happened. There you have it, from top to finish. Now, the next thing I want to say to an admin on the new PvP page. I mean, I have you in my house. You drink beer. You smoke my dope. I never ask you for anything in return. And you sit here and go behind my fucking back and send our private messages to the group chat. You know what, I'm not going to call you out. I mean, now I know who you really are, so it don't matter to me. You probably won't be back in my house again without an explanation. But I'll tell you something. The whole purpose of you doing that was for what? What did you have to prove? What do you think that I could have said to you privately that I wouldn't say to any motherfucker in this group? It proved to me that you're a coward, you got no fucking balls, and it's people like you that are bringing drama to the groups, and the main reason why people like me left. Simple as that. I won't call you out. You know who I'm talking about. So do I. Mark my words.